Hey everybody, we're back here. Brian Koziel, Kevin Sylvester, PGA Pro Jeff Metis. We thought we needed more time this week on our show, so we're calling this Tee to Green Extra, a little bit extra with it being supposed to be Masters Week, and the three of us just wanted to talk more about the Masters. So we're like, let's just keep going here.
Yeah, but we're going to post this before the show, so they're going to get Tee to Green Extra before the show.
That's right.
Like, because of social distancing, we have to record the show ahead of time for it to air on Saturday morning, and which we're thankful for that we have the technology to do so, to do that. So this a little extra stuff here, and hopefully we get back. At least what we got another April to go through. So hopefully in May we're able to get back in studio and do the show live again.
That's right.
Jeff, I don't know about you. You might like this recording.
I like it better in the studio, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of seeing myself on the phone as I'm talking to somebody, to be honest. Yeah. It's like looking in the mirror. I'm not a big fan of that either. So, it just reminds me how old I am every time I do it.
Just think of how good your technology skills are getting, though, Jeff. I mean,
I put my iPhone in a tripod now. So, I got way better at it. Yeah. And I got that from Kevin. Yeah.
Jeff was mentioning, how many people, like, you have a laptop without a camera on it, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, it's only about a year or two old too. It's relatively new, so it doesn't have the camera.
Wow.
It's a Samsung. It's not a terrible laptop. It's just I don't know why it doesn't have a camera.
An Apple with one P on the brand, right?
Yeah.
Apple.
Well, you can buy, like, I actually use a different camera, like it's a USB thing. So we'll have to set you up with that, because my MacBook is I don't know. I have to upgrade. It's old. It's an older. Brian, you're an Apple guy too, right?
Yeah, I have a MacBook.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, you're a teacher.
Okay. The HD camera I'm using separately is better than the one on the Apple.
That's right.
But we can keep chasing technology all the damn time. Believe me, my studio's full of damn gadgets that I buy every year, and I'm like, what am I doing? And in this quarantine, believe me, I'm like, oh, do I get the new GoPro? Well, wait a second, I got the DJI one, like, just trying to figure out, and of course, since I'm even talking about it, my advertisements on Facebook or wherever are going to have all these other cool gadgets, and I'm like, geez, I need that, I need this. It's like the Ginsu knife. When you're watching TV at 1 a.m, right? You remember those days the infomercial came on?
Nope.
No?
Never. I never watched TV at 1 a.m. I was asleep, Kevin. I'm an old Pollock. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, like, they have the infomercials where you buy, look at it, slices through a tomato, then a can, whatever. People know the Ginsu knives.
I'm familiar with that, but normally, what I'm missing right now is like golf. Right now, normally you flick on the TV and you hear that theme for the Masters, and you're checking your Twitter feed to see who, how they started off, and you go and you catch the first half hour on Sunday at the Masters when they do that. They set the table, Jim Nantz, stay friends, all that stuff. And the music, and they go through the week and how we got here, and then they show the guys teeing off on the first hole, and the honorary starters. You get to watch Nicholas and Gary Player swat one down the first fairway, and all the tradition that goes with it. And it always seems to be the spark to the golf season for me. It means, hey, now golf season's official. I mean, I've watched golf, I played golf. You watch it through the spring for the most part, but now Masters Week always seemed to kick it off, and I still get chills, when you have you hear the Masters song. And having been there so many times, not so many times, 4 or 5 times that I've been to the Masters, it's still just the coolest thing. I always tell people I've done a lot in golf. I've been to a lot of cool places, as you guys have. Kevin, you've been around the world, country following golf. I still get geeked out when the Masters comes on, and it's super exciting, and it's disappointing. It'd be fun to see in November though. Maybe we'll see some fall leaves in there, fall foliage instead of April flowers.
You know where I haven't been? So I haven't been to Augusta National. I'm the only guy on the show who hasn't been there, and I tell people that, they're like, "What? How have you not been?" Well, it's not, with PGA Tour Radio, Sirius XM and Westwood One take it over. So it's not assigned by my bosses. I'm available. I'm available to work it.
Throwing
And I
that
got
out there.
colleagues who do work it.
You're free November 9th if they need an extra announcer. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I put in for the lottery every year. I have people tell me if they win the lottery, they'll give me tickets to go. And believe me, I've let everybody I know with power, like, hey, I just want to go and see the golf course in person, and I had a colleague play it. My colleague, so this is a cool story. Freddie Albers, who I work with on PGA Tour Radio, and Fred's worked the Masters, and Fred's done every major, and he's awesome. Lives in El Paso, Texas. His wife is Christy Albers, LPGA Tour winner, and he used to do a show with Lou Holtz on Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. I think they do it twice a month, so Lou said to him one time, and I'm going to try my Lou Holtz voice, and I can't really do a good Lou Holtz voice, but Freddie, I'm going to have you come to the Masters, right? Come play Augusta National sometime. And he's like, oh, that'd be great. Well, he gets a call from Lou's secretary. God, this was maybe just over a year ago. Might have been 2 years ago. Said, hey, Mr. Holtz would like to schedule for you and Christy to come play Augusta National. And they did it in like January, I want to say it was. But Fred was having some hip issues, and said it was great. They played the par 3 course. They stayed overnight in the Butler cabin, which was cool. They played the par 3 course, then they played the regular course, but he could only make 13 holes because the pain. Yeah, he said they had to walk, right?
Yep.
They had to walk
With caddies.
Yeah, and he just said it was so painful. He goes, but I wanted to get through Amen Corner. That was my goal. If I could handle the pain and get through Amen Corner, would have been great. He said,
Brian, you've been there. It's a tough walk.
It's definitely a tough walk. It's something that everybody always says after you go there, that the amount of elevation change in the course that you don't see on TV, it's definitely true. When I went 2 years ago, I definitely had the plan of I want to walk all 18 to see it all. And I feel like I accomplished 95% of that. Not necessarily walking every yard of every hole, but getting to see every hole I did, which was great. But the elevation change from maybe the approach shot up to the green or down to the green on every hole is there that you really you can't see it on TV. I was almost going there trying not to hype it up, because I was thinking, like, this is the most excited I am about a sporting event maybe in my life to go to. And I just didn't want it to set my bar so high. And not only did it hit it, but it went even past it, of just how beautiful and how perfect it is. The atmosphere that they talk about, how it's so different than any other one, it really is true. I mean, the crowd is, I should say patrons, right? The patrons are unbelievably behaved. They are in sense of some fear because they don't want to get kicked out. There's people all over the place. I mean, the bathrooms facilities are nicer than the Wegmans bathrooms that we all see around here, which is, amazing. The food prices and the concession stands and the beer and the drinks are, dirt cheap. And just, I think it's that aura. Nobody says it, but it's like you come here as a person that appreciates golf, and everybody else there all has that same common bond. And even the golfers, even the staff, like you all seem to have that same feeling while you're walking around it, which I thought it made it great.
All right, let me ask you. I had a question about the elevation, Jeff, before your story. How does it compare to Bethpage Black? The walk with Bethpage Black.
Brian, you'd have to answer that. I've only seen Bethpage Black on TV.
I've walked Bethpage Black. So I would working it. So go ahead.
I would say the elevation change maybe is in quantity wise a little bit more at Augusta, but there definitely is some at Bethpage. But playing it, if I was going to say that I was playing both, I think Bethpage is a tougher walk because the gap in between holes and the terrain in between holes at Bethpage Black is different, is bigger, and it's longer. I think at Augusta National, the holes are so perfectly laid out. They're right next to each other. Not that Bethpage isn't, but the space in between them at Bethpage, they're spread out so much more. So I think in terms of the physical demands of a walk, I think Bethpage is actually a tougher walk.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's hard to, like you say, TV number 10, Brian, at Augusta. You know, if you watch it on TV, it looks like it's not that much. You got to sling hook something down, and it goes way down this hill. It's hard to. You can see how Rory hit it near the cabins the one time trying to hit a quick hook there. But quick, I got a funny story. First time, you know, you talk about being afraid to get kicked out of the Masters. I'm only telling this because this is on the podcast version. Yeah, but so I got a call one day, a buddy, Eddie Borick, former pro we know well from Lockport Country Club, now in Florida.
You know what? A member where he works volunteers at the Arnold Palmer every year, and he tells me every year, "Hey, Eddie Borick says hello." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah,
all right. Anyway,
he's a great guy. So he calls me. We end up driving through the night to go to the Masters. Hey, he's like, "What are you doing?" Well, it was a day like this in Buffalo. It was snowing. So, hey, I'm going to go down for 2 days to the Masters. My kids were out of town. So I jumped in the car with him. We drive down through the night to Augusta. We roll up at the front gate. We're in jeans and T-shirts because we've been driving all night. And we don't know where we're going. And it's Monday morning. We're there for the practice round, or Tuesday morning. And we go out PGA. Where does PGA park? They let us in. So we drove down Magnolia Lane right in front of the clubhouse. Realized we were in the wrong spot. Had to go to somewhere else. But as you know, Brian, the beers are inexpensive there. And all of a sudden it's 82 degrees and it's snowing in Buffalo. And late in the afternoon, apparently we were a little boisterous near the driving range, and we were politely asked once or twice to just keep our voices down. You know, the Irish whisper. We were reprimanded. Let's put it that way on the driving range. It's one of my great stories. We're sitting there looking at Shigeru Matsuyama, if you remember him. That guy can't play. His swing's terrible. I think he finished third that week. It was the year Mickelson won. So. That's one of my favorite Masters stories.
Hideki Matsuyama.
Hideki Matsuyama.
Apparently, that's how you probably said it that day. Sure.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
But a lot louder.
That's right. A lot. I could see that happening. No, when you go in the main entrance at the Masters, they're actually off to the right. Jeff, I'm sure you remember it. Well, maybe you don't remember this. There's a spot where it says PGA of America Professionals entrance, and you can go through there off to the side. I know the media entrance then is a little bit off to the left. I remember
we went in the players' parking lot and got changed in the parking lot too, which is another real classy move at the Masters. Put our khakis on.
No, the practice area is amazing. The driving range area is amazing. But picturing you changing out of your jeans in the Masters parking lot.
Yeah, there was John Daly had his Winnebago there that year, whatever.
Daly had it set up in. What was the restaurant? I know everybody think, it's Hooters right away.
Hooters, yeah.
Right. There was another restaurant outside of one of the Masters parking lots where Daly had his thing set up when I was there. And of course he's there signing autographs and doing his thing every year.
Yeah. He looks like he shouldn't be alive when you watch him work.
Yeah. Kevin, we were talking about the stock market before we did our show this week. What you should have done is bought a whole bunch of hotel rooms in November in the thought of maybe that it would have landed there. I saw that they said hotel rooms that were going for $49 are now going for over $1,000 a night during that week in November.
Brian, I'm worried about paying for the rooms in my house right now. Hotel rooms, in November. So I'm not speculating on that. It is going to be interesting to see November. It'll be cooler, right? I mean, but probably similar, right? I would think similar.
Yeah.
Right? Actually, if they're playing this weekend, this is a Thursday when we're doing this. It's supposed to be like 49 and not great conditions in Augusta, Georgia. Matter of fact, I'm going to check the old iTunes weather forecast here to see what it is in Augusta, Georgia. I just remember I watched the weather report last night because I'm supposed to play on Saturday at 10 a.m. It's going to be chilly.
There you go, Kevin. I got it. Ready?
I'm thinking of going. I mean, because it's in November and it'll be a one-off. Like you'll never probably see the Masters in November again.
Yeah.
So to me, it's really intriguing. So I'm actually, I'm probably gonna and it's good with my work schedule to take a trip down there this November. And I'm as it stands, when I saw that, I kind of was making mental plans to go down and actually watch the event. I'll go for the practice rounds. The tournament rounds get so crowded, it's very difficult to see, but it'd be fun to go for the practice rounds, maybe the first day on Thursday, stay, and then head home, because the TV on it's so good.
Yeah, right.
Although having been there, I mean, you've been there, you can tell what's going on when you're there.
Yep.
You can be up by 9T and know what's going on 13 or 16 or wherever it is, because you can tell where the roars are coming from. So it's pretty cool. But
yeah,
I think this November that might be a nice little road trip if anybody wants to join me there, fellas.
Well, I want to go. I'm not a PGA member. I can't get in. Brian, what's the forecast this weekend in Augusta?
Right. So currently here on Thursday morning as we record this, it says 76 and sunny and a high today of 85. Tomorrow's the cooler day, 66, and then Saturday, Sunday, 72. The average temperature in November in Augusta, Georgia, the average high is 67. So, but it could be 70s. I mean, it could be 50s. I'm sure, though, I'm sure the course will look pretty regardless of what the weather.
Well, you know how we love fall golf here? You know how fall golf's the elite time of year to play? Maybe that's well, I don't know if it is, but I bet it's pretty elite at Augusta, Georgia to play in the fall, too.
Oh, yeah, right? Well, that's probably right around when they open the course back up in October, right? For play, they close it down pretty much at mid-May?
I think so.
Yeah.
Through July.
Yeah. And then I want to say it's through August. It's got to be hotter than all get out down there in August.
Yeah, you might be through August. Yeah, it's very hot, very humid.
Hey, speaking of golf courses where they play majors, I'm just thinking about this. I'm hoping somebody from Oak Hill sees this and we get invited to play there when we get back to golf this summer, because I'm looking forward to playing. I want to play the golf course with the renovations they did to Oak Hill. I saw some of the pictures, what they've done when they did it. It looks great. I just curious, and it's more open, right? Back to original design. The hole over in the corner. We're talking about major golf courses that people in our viewing area, Western New York, have seen. Oak Hill, it's going to have a different look to it.
Yeah, 15's been dramatically changed from what I understand, the par 3. And a bunch of other changes. When we were there in the fall last year, the guy I was playing with knew all the changes that were going on, and as we played, they were telling us about it or whatever.
That's one of the biggest changes. That 15th hole that had that pond there. They're just going to fill it in and move the green a little up on the hill a little more where it should have been. And then I know another major area of change is on the front line, that like 4, 5, 6 area.
Yes,
and that 6th hole, which had all those hole-in-ones when the U.S. Open was there in the late was it 89 when it was there? I think when Strange won.
He went back.
Yeah, there were 3 that day, right? 3 or 4.
There were, all within a span of like a few hours at that same hole. I guess that's going to be all revamped. But there are obviously maybe some people that are watching this have played Oak Hill, so it'll be something that will be different to look at, no doubt. Again, going back to the original design, we're seeing that a lot even with local golf courses here in Western New York. Not necessarily massive redesigns, but maybe less trees, more open areas, trying to go back to kind of the original design thoughts there. Jeff, do you think that's a good move for courses across Western New York? The less is more mentality sort of thing?
I do, for multiple reasons. For turf health, first and foremost. Trees, the saying I always had was, you never see trees on a turf nursery. So, if you're growing grass, bluegrass, you don't have any trees. Same thing on a golf course. It also, it opens it up and it makes play faster. It makes it more fun, because you can find your ball. It's not rattling around in the trees. People get through quicker because there's less of an Easter egg hunt out there when they're playing golf, especially at a public facility. And trees over time, they get planted sometimes by committees or members who didn't know much about golf course architecture. Everybody wanted that. When golf courses were originally built, they were designed by, you look at Buffalo, Country Club Buffalo, great Donald Ross facility. Over years, members had planted trees all throughout that golf course because they had an arboretum of some sort. And over time, those trees grow large and they reduce the integrity of the hole, and they change how the hole's played, and it changes the turf, and those invisible changes creep in year after year. And, every once in a while, going back to the original design, sometimes the original design wasn't perfect, but there's a reason for it, especially when you have great architects. You know, Glen Oak had a great architect. They pushed a lot of trees back there, get it close to the original design. Country Club of Buffalo's gone through multiple redesigns, and sometimes clubs just like doing it. But I do think it is good to open it up, get some air. It helps with the turf. It helps pace of play. It helps it in a million different ways.
Oakmont,
But
another.
I
I'll
think-
just jump in
Oakmont,
quick.
yeah.
Oakmont's another.
I played the
course
old Oakmont. I
that
played it with the
took
trees.
down a ton of trees. I was at both U.S. Opens, the one in 07 when Cabrera won, and then back in 16 the DJ won. And I was like, I almost didn't even recognize the place because there was so
Yeah.
many trees taken down there.
Much different. I played it when it had the trees and been back there for the Open when it didn't have the trees. That's a hard golf course, by the way. Oakmont.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's that's kind of what Oak Hill, even did before this renovation, right? I mean, they took out a lot of trees before redoing this, and they did that on 13, right? The Hill of Fame. They've taken out some trees on the left there, I believe, and I think they've leveled the green a little bit more, so it wasn't as severe. And they've taken out bunkers around it, and they're growing the rough. And Baltusrol is doing the same thing in New Jersey. I got a chance to play there last September, and like for the first hole, they're taking out a ton of pine trees. Gil Hanse is doing it, and they're taking out a lot of the softwood, if you will, around the golf course, and they're taking out a lot of bunkers for two reasons. One, like bunkers are tough to maintain, Jeff, as you know, right? I mean, they sink the sod and stuff, but they've determined that because they hold major championships, it's so much easier for the professional top level player, and frankly for amateurs too, if you work on it, to hit out of the sand and get it close. Hell, I see players who are 15 handicaps just spin the ball out of the bunker. I'm not even good at spinning the ball out of the bunker, and I'm a single digit guy. But anyway, it's easier to hit out of a bunker, a well-manicured bunker, than it is out of rough around a green. So they're bringing the premium back on hitting the putting surface on there. So I think Oak Hill did that on 13 and some other ones, which, and I agree with. I think, keep the fairway bunkers. They're tough to play out of. It's a hard shot, but around the green, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have some bunkers, particularly in elevated surfaces, but if it's a normal surface, I think thicker rough around there, around the green, make it a premium to hit the putting surface.
And they have more runoff areas now because the reason bunker's a one-shot deal. You're in the bunker, you hit a stock shot. If you have runoffs or short areas and more area around the green, it gives you a lot more versatility, a lot more options for shots you can play to get close to the hole too. If you're in the bunker, you cut under it, you throw it up there, you try to stop it next to the hole. If you're, in a runoff area, you can hit it high, or you can chip it into the slope, or you get multiple options, which is a very fun way to play also, instead of just always hitting bunker shots.
Yeah, it's a big intrigue of why we love watching the Open Championship or some of the European Tour events, is that there's so much creativity and different ways to hit shots. Sometimes on the Americanized courses that, like we said, they're changing for the right reasons, but a lot of times it might be the same way to play it over and over and over again. Just, bomb it down there, hack it on the green, or chip it out of the bunker onto the green, that sort of thing.
How many tour players aim for bunkers, Kev? On par five, your second shot, you just want to blast it in that bunker sometimes because that's the easiest up and down.
Well, that's their miss, right? I mean, they're going for the green, but they're factoring in what the miss is, right? And if there's a bunker there, if I come up short, I'm in the bunker. If I roll off and then there's a bunker over to that side, okay, fine, because they can hole out from a bunker. Frankly, they're so good out of the sand. It's incredible. It just baffles me how good professional players are out of bunkers.
Hey,
and the other thing,
go ahead, Jeff.
The other thing in this conversation is the golf ball has changed the game. So when these courses were built, you're playing different types of golf balls. I grew up playing a lot of golf balls. I tell the story. I hit it further now at 51 years old than I did when I was 23. So in the golf balls, it's changed the game, and golf courses need to keep up with that and change. And a lot of that original design actually it corresponds with the golf ball, and it helps you. It gets you back to that game where you still got to play it on the ground a little bit and chip and run and show a little bit more creativity around the greens than just bunkers and rough. So
before we wrap our Tee to Green Extra here, it's Masters Week. We obviously wanted to talk a lot more, so we're continuing here. And I think this would be interesting. Every week, of course, that there's a major, we do our pick segment, and we love to rib each other about this. I'm really curious if the Masters was played this week, who you would pick, because I feel like I could argue about 20 different players. And taking into account Tiger's health, if it was played this week, would be a factor. I'm really curious of who you would pick to win. Jeff, go ahead. I know you always take Tiger. Would you have taken him?
I think I'd have taken Rory this week, just by how he was playing this spring. I'm a big Brooks Koepka fan, as you may know. But Brooks,
similar workout
he hasn't
regimens.
Really shown the. Yeah, I mean we're similar. Yeah,
yes.
And he hasn't shown the form yet. His injuries. He hasn't been back 100% yet. But I'm pretty sure I would have, if I had put money down, I'd have put it on Rory this week.
All right. To me, there's no other pick this year but Rory, the way he's been playing. But to not make this boring and just say Rory, I will tell you another player I would have chosen, that would have been Mark Leishman. Leash has been playing great this year. Won at Torrey Pines. I think he's a good iron player. I would have taken Leash. If it's not Rory, just to give you another name, Mark Leishman.
The iron play is so important at Augusta too, because it's not always hitting it close to the pin. It's hitting it in the right spot so you can putt uphill, or you don't get in a spot where you can't get up and down. So that's a huge factor.
Yeah. And I agree with what you guys both said about Rory, but to agree with Kevin here and pick someone different, I would have said maybe it would have been Justin Thomas's time. I think he's had a pretty good year. I feel like he's going to win this event at some point.
I agree.
And he's a smart player. I think that he also can hit it super far, so he would have been able to take it. Masters winners usually take advantage of the par fives. We even just mentioned Nicklaus's 86 win. He eagles, one of the par fives coming in. When Mickelson and Woods won, they was eagling those par fives. I think his length and his ability to kind of navigate and play a tactical round, I think Thomas would have been my pick had it gone on this week.
It would have been fun to watch.
Yeah. None of us said John Rahm.
Another guy that we could have. Yeah.
And you know what? Our show a few weeks ago. Shame on us. Sorry, John.
Show Karma. Yeah, he would have won because he was on
Green
our
Karma.
show.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll work on Leishman. I'll see if I can get Leishman on.
Yeah, come on, kid, pull some strings. I mean, you got these B-rate tour. You got the second-ranked tour player in the world on our show. Come on, can't get the first.
That's right.
I don't know.
Well, I think Rory. Rory should be in Jupiter. He should be in Florida. But listen.
His wife's from Western New York.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Pull that string.
Well, it's funny. I said something to his mother-in-law in Boston 1 year.
Good thing this is a podcast.
No. I just, was following him around, and I said, "Hey, you're all from Rochester, right?" She's like, "Yes, we are." And it was, I said, "Just want to I grew up in Waterloo, and my mom lived in Parrington." She's like, "Oh, this is great." And it's like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone now. I'm not looking to be pals here. I'm just, hey, we got something in common. I know where you're from." And she's very nice, very nice people.
Rory was great the year that he came. Remember PGA Media Day when he came to Oak Hill because he was the defending
champ?
We
were there together, right, Brian?
Yeah. And even though I've told you guys the story, I'll tell it one more time. I said the most nervous I've ever been playing golf was that day.
All right. Yes.
Because Rory's group and my group just happened to luckily somehow by sheer luck we ended up on the first tee where if you don't know Oak Hill, the 14 tee and the 1 tee share a tee right by the clubhouse. And we just, by sheer odds, just happened to both end up there at the same time. And Rory, in a very gentlemanly way, said, "You guys go ahead. You guys tee off first," since we kind of were looking at each other. And I was like, "No, we want to watch you hit because we want you to see if you can drive the green on 14. And he goes, "No, you go ahead." So, I'm standing there. And I'm like, Jesus, McIlroy's like 20 feet away here watching me hit this drive. Like, just please don't duff it.
Judging.
That's right. He's judging everything about it. And I was just like, please make solid contact. I hit it. I hit good contact. It did slice to the right, went in the rough, but at least I hit it like full distance. So I was like, okay, good. There wasn't any of that. And then we all turned around and watched to see that short 14th hole going up to see if he could. And he took out driver and smacked it way up there, of course. That's a cool hole.
It is a fun hole.
Roy's great, and that doesn't surprise me. that story. It reminded me of like a nervous time hitting a shot. This is when I was in Charlotte, and they used to have it used to be the Home Depot, I think it was. They had 2 senior tour events near there before they got the Wells Fargo back. One was up in Tanglewood Park, which is a great public track in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Great place, and they have media days, right? And this one was really cool. It was damn, I can't remember the winner of that one who was there, but it was really cool tournament and dinner and stuff. And then the one, it was at TPC Piper Glen, and I remember going to the tournament, seeing Arnold Palmer play and stuff. It was neat. But the media day they had for it, Bruce Fleischer. Remember Bruce Fleischer?
I do.
He was he dominated on the senior tour for a while. He
Brian's
was
not old enough. Yeah.
I think I remember the name.
Well, Jeff, well then you can appreciate the story. So they had him on 17, downhill par 3, kind of a peninsula green. You're hitting down. If you go long, you're in the left, right, long, you're in the water. And the deal was hey, challenge Bruce Fleischer, right, on 17th tee. He'll hit tee shots, takes a picture with you, whatever. So our group gets up there, and I think I say something to Bruce, you're gonna lead it off for us? Like, no, you guys hit. I go, no, I think we want to see you hit, And he's like, no, go ahead and hit. I went, okay. I stick it to 3 feet. I mean, I hit a great shot, and he just looked at me. He's like, oh, guess I should have gone first, hey pal. He was pissed off because I'm the only good shot I hit all day. By the way, I mean I played like crap. It was the only good shot I hit all day, and he didn't even go down on the green with us. He goes, I'm not even going down there, guys. And so I was talking to guys afterwards. I said, hey, how was Bruce? Oh, he was great. He was great. I said, he didn't come down to the green. He's like, he didn't come down to the green? I go, no. And he didn't hit first. He's like, oh, he hit first for every other group except for ours. He didn't like me, I guess. I can't imagine why, Jeff, right? I mean.
You shouldn't have told him to take a suck of this after you hit it. Maybe that's why.
That's right. Oh, well.
Oh, well. Anyway,
hey, if you're listening.
Look up Bruce Fleischer. If you don't remember Bruce Fleischer.
I'm going to. Yeah.
He won a lot. It seemed.
Tall guy.
Right, on the senior tour.
Yeah.
So,
hey, if you're listening to this before Saturday, you can listen to us, of course, on WGR 7 to 8. Kevin's got an interview with Ryan Armour, the PGA Tour player. And, of course, we have a lot more thoughts on the Masters. And, of course, you should listen every Saturday at 7 o'clock. But T2Green.golf is our website. Of course, hope you're watching this on our YouTube page or wherever you're watching it from one of our Twitter handles. We appreciate you being with us. So let's hope we can do this again sometime soon, gentlemen. That was fun.
All right. See you.
Good to see you guys, even if it's on the camera. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. For Jeff Meadis, Kevin Sylvester, I'm Brian Koziel, our Tee to Green Extra. We'll talk to you next time.